Thank you. I will now turn it over to the mayor for announcements, reports, recognitions, and proclamations.
Thank you, Mr. President. I appreciate that. Fox 6 here. Good. You're at a good meeting because there's some really good recognitions going on tonight. The first one that we would like to recognize tonight, he's on time schedule. We got to get him out of here, so I want to bring up Leanne and Greg Blackman, Coach Blackman. Did y'all come up to the front? Coach Blackman is, as we talked about him the other night at one of his games, is if you looked up in the dictionary, or I used Google the other day, if you Googled a servant's heart, servant's spirit, a community servant, all of those things, it'd have his name there. Would you stand right there in front of the city seal, and you'll understand why after we read this proclamation. I'm really proud to stand by him and to present this to him, and I think that our entire city will see what a true servant leader is.
This proclamation is for Coach Greg Blackman Day on September 10th, 2024. Whereas Coach Greg Blackman has been a Hoover youth football coach for going on 29 years, and whereas Coach Blackman helped create and currently serves as the president of the Hoover Athletic Association, a nonprofit youth organization which exists to provide premier youth sports programs, and whereas Coach Blackman also serves on the Jefferson Shelby Youth Football League on behalf of the city of Hoover, and whereas in his 28 years of coaching, only 6 years consisted of coaching his own children and 2 additional years coaching his grandchild, the remaining years have been dedicated to giving of his time and talent to the other children in Hoover. And whereas as an incredible coach and mentor, he still remains close to many of his prior players, including Heisman Trophy winner and national champion Jameis Winston. And whereas most of the current juniors on Hoover High School's football team played for Coach Blackman, won a state championship when they were in 6th grade, and the 2023 senior class went 36-2 under Coach Blackman, including 60 wins in a row with all 6 years winning the championship title. And whereas this year, Coach Blackman's 6th grade team has not lost a game since coming back from COVID, when all that was allowed was flag football, winning the Southeastern Championship. They are now 35-0 going into this season with 3 straight championships and a Turkey Bowl championship last year in Pensacola. And whereas in the beginning of this 2024 season, Coach Blackman's record was a remarkable 294-27-1, whereas on September 10th, 2024, Coach Greg Blackman received his remarkable 300th win against Thompson at Brock's Gap in Hoover. Now, therefore, we, Mayor Frank V. Brocato and City Council President John B. Lida of Hoover, on behalf of the Hoover City Council, do hereby declare September 10th, 2024 as Coach Greg Blackman Day in recognition of his dedication to the youth of Hoover and on his successful winning career. Camera in the middle, okay, over there.
Thank you, guys. Thanks for being here. Always 301. Mayor, I have to say one thing about Coach Blackman. I have a 26-year-old son that he helped coach, and I have an 11-year-old son that he's helping coach. So wow. He's been around quite a bit and has been great for our city and also producing great young men. Thank you.
Well, thank you. I would like to have come up before us this evening as well. We're going to recognize Childhood Cancer Awareness Month, and we have some very familiar folks to our city that contribute in a lot of ways as well, and we certainly appreciate each and every one of you. So Maddie Betzold, who's the president of the junior board, come up. Trip Irwin is the board member. Emily Hughes, secretary of the board. Amanda Nurr, executive director. Stella Wilson, and Whitney's not here, right? Whitney? Okay. Whitney Wilson is a board member and a board advisor. She couldn't make it, but we would love to honor this group here. And Mr. City Attorney, if you would.
Whereas childhood cancer is the leading cause of death by disease in children, and whereas 1 in 285 children in the United States will be diagnosed by their 20th birthday, and whereas 46 children per day, or 16,790 children per year, are diagnosed with cancer in the U.S., with 40,000 children on active treatment at any given time. And whereas the average age of diagnosis is 6 years old compared to 66 years for adults cancer diagnosis, and whereas 80% of childhood cancer patients are diagnosed late with metastatic disease, and whereas on average there's been a 0.6% increase in incidence per year since the mid-1970s, resulting in an overall increase of incidence of 24% over the last 40 years. Whereas 2/3 of childhood cancer patients will have chronic health conditions as a result of their treatment toxicity, with 1/4 being classified as severe to life-threatening. And whereas in the last 20 years, only 4 new drugs have been approved by the FDA to specifically treat childhood cancer. Whereas hundreds of nonprofit organizations at the local and national level, including the American Childhood Cancer Organization, are helping children with cancer and their families cope through educational, emotional, and financial support. And whereas researchers and healthcare professionals work diligently, dedicating their expertise to treat and cure children with cancer. And whereas too many children are affected by this deadly disease and more must be done to raise awareness and find a cure. Now therefore, we, Frank V. Brocato, Mayor, and John B. Lyda, City Council President, and on behalf of the residents of the City of Hoover, do hereby declare September 2024 as Childhood Cancer Awareness Month in Hoover, Alabama, and encourage all the residents of Hoover, as well as all Americans, to observe Childhood Cancer Awareness Month and support this cause that so deeply impacts families and every community across our country.
I'm Amanda Nurr. I'm the Executive Director of Hope for Autumn Foundation. Just want to quickly thank the City of Hoover. We were founded in 2012, and the City of Hoover has nurtured us and made us who we are today. We're still going strong, and we believe one of our goals is awareness, because awareness leads to funding for childhood cancer research, and funding leads to cures. So September is Childhood Cancer Awareness Month, and so awareness is very important because people don't understand that it is severely underfunded, childhood cancer research. And we need new treatments, and our foundation is dedicated to funding cancer research. That's actually right here in the state at Children's of Alabama. So just thank you to the City of Hoover and for your support over all these years. Thank you.
All right, before we get into business, I'd like to recognize former Councilmember Joe Rives and former Council President Gene Smith, who have joined us this evening. And then we will move into business, beginning with the consent agenda. Does any member of the council wish to remove any item from the consent agenda before we turn it over to the city attorney? None? Anybody from the audience? Mr. Schultz? Okay. Mr. City Attorney, please remove number 12 from the consent agenda and add it to the regular agenda. It's the first item, and with that, I'll ask the City Attorney to read the items on the consent agenda.
Item number 1 is the approval of the minutes from the August 29th, 2024 special meeting, the August 29th, 2024 work session, and the September 3rd, 2024 meeting. Resolution number 824424 approves a 040 retail beer on or off premises alcohol license and a 060 retail table wine on or off premises alcohol license for Uncle G's Pizza LLC located at 1851 Montgomery Highway, Suite 107, Hoover, Alabama. Resolution number 824624 authorizes Mayor Brocato to execute a renewal agreement with Liberty Mutual Insurance for the Hoover Historical Society General Liability and Property Insurance Policy. Resolution 824724 authorizes the mayor to execute an agreement with Global Aerospace, Inc. for the City of Hoover drone insurance policy. Resolution 824824 authorizes Mayor Brocato to execute an agreement with Chubb Group of Companies, Ace American Insurance Company, for the City of Hoover Park and Recreation Insurance. Resolution 824924 authorizes the mayor to execute an agreement with the Community Partnership of Alabama, Inc., acting in its capacity as United Way Area Agency on Aging for Jefferson County for the operation of certain senior center programming. Resolution 825124 authorizes Mayor Brocato to execute a master software license and maintenance agreement with Catalyst Courts and Land Records, LLC, for Catalyst CMS Enterprise. Resolution 825224 authorizes the mayor to reject the bid from the lowest bidder and to accept a bid number 24-014 for landscaped maintenance services, facilities, and miscellaneous areas for the City of Hoover, Alabama, from Grow V Landscapes, LLC, in an amount not to exceed $40,104 per year, and authorizes the mayor to execute an agreement reflecting the same. Resolution 825324 authorizes Mayor Brocato to accept bid number 24-015 for landscape maintenance services, interchange gateway areas for the City of Hoover, Alabama, from Grow V Landscapes, LLC, in an amount not to exceed $60,000 per year, and authorizes the mayor to execute an agreement reflecting the same. Resolution 825424 authorizes the mayor to accept a bid for bid number 24-016 for landscape maintenance services, roadway areas for the City of Hoover, Alabama, from Alabama Turf Works in an amount not to exceed $70,798 per year, and authorizes Mayor Brocato to execute an agreement reflecting the same. And finally, Resolution 825524 authorizes Mayor Brocato to purchase stop-loss insurance for the City of Hoover, Alabama, with Lloyd's of London.
Motion to approve the consent agenda as read.
Second.
Have a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, say nay. The consent agenda is passed. Now we will move on to number 12, which is resolution number 8257-24. Mr. Corley.
This resolution amends the budget for the fiscal year ending September 30, 2024, as shown in Exhibit A to the resolution for legal expenses associated with the HCA Certificate of Need.
Motion to approve resolution number 8257-24.
Second.
All right, we'll open it up with a brief recap from Ms. Cornett, and then we'll move on to discussion.
Yes, so this budget amendment request is for an additional $381,251 to cover legal costs associated with securing the certificate of need. Previously, the council, we had $150,000 that was budgeted for these expenditures, and previously in this year, you also authorized an additional $500,000 so to be used, which has been used. And so this is an additional $381,000 of costs. It includes court reporter fees that were very expensive for 10 days of testimony. It included some expert witness testimony, and also I guess two expert witness testimonies that were also included in those legal fees. Last Thursday, I guess it was, my days are running together, Councilperson Driver asked if I would look at where we stood with our legal expenditures out of the general fund, and I did that this afternoon. We currently have paid all of our legal bills through July, and we have enough to cover the August bill within the given budget that we have in the general fund. But there will not be enough for the September fees, so there's not existing budget there to be able to draw these funds from.
Do we anticipate another budget amendment when that September bill comes?
I would imagine we would need to. We know what the bill, we know that we have enough to cover the August billing for regular attorney help.
Okay. Any questions from council?
So what's the total amount so far year to date?
So let's see. Well, I didn't bring my calculator up here. So this, including this budget amendment, we would be adding that to $650,000. So a little north of $1 million in total for legal costs associated with securing the certificate of need. And we remember that a lot of this was due to the opposition that was mounted and required hearings and other costs that we hope to avoid without that.
Thank you.
Any other comments or questions from council? Any from the audience? Yes, sir.
I'm Robin Schultz, Bluff Park. So we're at $1.1 million, and I notice this is coming out of the seller's use tax. Are we at the end? Are we at the end with this particular item, or could this increase as well? Do we know the answer to that? Because I understand we have another hearing, or we're going to Montgomery this week. Will it be over at that point if they approve it, or could there be additional legal fees added to this $1.1 million?
Mr. Attorney?
I would have to defer to Colin Luke, who's representing the city and the Healthcare Authority in the application for the certificate of need. But my understanding is that if the certificate of need is granted at the hearing next week, that there would not be additional material fees required related to that. We would not anticipate an appeal, for example.
Okay, thank you very much.
Okay, anyone else from the audience on this item? Okay, hearing and seeing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed say nay. Motion passes. Moving on to number 13, which is payment of bills, and Councilor McClinton, I understand you'll be abstaining from this item.
Correct.
Motion to approve payment of bills.
Second.
Any discussion on this item? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed say nay. We have paid the bills. Now moving on to number 14, resolution number 8245-24, Mr. Corley.
This resolution authorizes Mayor Brocato to execute an agreement with Alabama Power Company.
Motion to approve resolution number 8245-24.
Second.
We discussed this item as well as everything else on the list on Thursday night. Are there any questions or comments from council on this item? Any from the audience? Hearing and seeing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed say nay. Motion passes. Moving to number 15, resolution number 8236-24, Mr. Corley. Actually, no, not Mr. Corley. I understand that has been cut to satisfaction, and we need a motion to withdraw.
Motion to withdraw resolution number 8236-24.
Second.
Have a motion and second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed say nay. We have withdrawn that motion. Moving to number 16, resolution number 8237-24, Mr. Corley.
This resolution authorizes abatement of weed and other vegetation nuisance at 2049 Sweet Gum Drive.
Motion to approve resolution 8237-24.
Second.
Okay. Mr. Martin, this is not cut to satisfaction, I understand.
Yes, sir. Of the three cases that we had for abatement consideration this evening, 2049 Sweet Gum Drive is the one that has not been cut, according to code enforcement, as of this afternoon.
Okay, any comments or questions from the council on this item?
Mr. Martin, did you have updated pictures to share tonight?
I'll have to refer to our city clerk.
No. 2049 Sweet Gum Drive, any updated pictures of the? That's okay. I take Mr. Martin's word for it.
While we wait, is there anyone here to speak for or against this item in terms of a public hearing? Okay, none, and there's the pictures.
There we go.
Thank you.
Another question for you, Mr. Martin. Is this a repeat offender, or is this the first time we've looked at this property?
I believe we've seen this one a couple of times. So, repeat offender.
Do we know if it's bank-owned or is it?
Last time I checked, it was still owned by a couple, but they moved out of the house several years ago. And so it's been a problem ever since.
Okay.
But it was still shown under the ownership of the couple that lived there previously.
Any other questions from anyone on the council? Any from the audience? Hearing and seeing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed say nay. Okay, and that passes. For number 17, this one's also been cut to satisfaction. We need a motion to withdraw.
Motion to withdraw resolution number 8238-24.
Second.
Have a motion and a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed say nay. Motion carries. Moving to number 18, ordinance number 24-2659. Mr. Corley.
This resolution authorizes abatement of a weed and other vegetation nuisance at 2060 Wood Meadow Circle. Is that removed? Okay. That was removed, so we'll move to ordinance number 24-2659, which amends ordinance number 263 to rezone property located at 5410 Highway 280 to C1 Neighborhood Shopping District and C2 Community Business District as shown on Exhibit A and B to the ordinance.
Motion to approve ordinance number 24-2659.
Second.
A motion and a second. Mr. Martin, anything new on this item?
Nothing new since our work session.
Okay. Any comments or questions from the council on this item? Any from the audience? Okay, hearing and seeing none. Madam Clerk, would you please call the roll?
Councilor Sweeney.
Aye.
Councilor Murphy.
Aye.
Councilor Middlebrooks.
Aye.
Councilor McClinton.
Aye.
Councilor Posey.
Aye. With that passes as well. Now moving on to number 19, resolution number 8258-24, Mr. Corley.
This resolution authorizes assessment of a weed lien at 2054 Wood Meadow Circle in the amount of $1,800.
Motion to approve resolution number 8258-24.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Mr. Martin, anything new on this? I know this is getting our money back from the hard work that Public Works did cutting these properties, which is a good thing to see.
Yes, sir. Our contractor went out and cut each of these properties, and we are trying to recoup funds by placing a lien on each of them from here to the remainder of the agenda.
Okay. Any comments or questions from the council? Any from the audience? Okay, we have a motion and a second. All in approval say aye.
Aye.
All opposed say nay. Motion passes. Item number 20, resolution number 8259-24, Mr. Corley.
This resolution authorizes assessment of a weed lien at 2125 Tyler Lane in the amount of $2,000.
Motion to approve resolution number 8259-24.
Second.
Have a motion and a second. Any comments from the council? This is, like you mentioned, the next three are the same. Any from the audience? Seeing none, all in approval say aye.
Aye.
All opposed say nay. Motion carries. Resolution number 8260-24, Mr. Corley.
This resolution authorizes assessment of a weed lien at 2152 Larchmont Circle in the amount of $750.
Motion to approve resolution number 8260-24.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Any comments from the council? Any from the audience? Seeing and hearing none, all in approval say aye.
Aye.
All opposed say nay. Motion carries. Resolution number 8261-24, Mr. Corley.
This resolution authorizes assessment of a weed lien at 2337 Tyler Road in the amount of $1,275.
Motion to approve resolution number 8261-24.
Second.
Any comments from the council? Any from the audience? Seeing and hearing none, all in approval say aye.
Aye.
All opposed say nay. Motion carries. Resolution number 8262-24, Mr. Corley.
This resolution authorizes the assessment of a weed lien at 2400 Savoy Street in the amount of $550.
Motion to approve resolution number 8262-24.
Second.
Motion is second. Any comments from the council? Any from the audience? All in approval say aye.
Aye.
All opposed say nay. Motion carries. And finally, resolution number 8263-24, Mr. Corley.
This also authorizes assessment of a weed lien at 3575 Warner Ridge Drive in the amount of $1,350.
Motion to approve resolution number 8263-24.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any comments from the council? Any from the audience? All in approval say aye.
Aye.
All opposed say nay. Motion carries. That brings us to the end of our business agenda, and we move to council comments. And I will begin by saying Friday afternoon, we will meet here in a special called meeting to discuss and hopefully pass the budget for fiscal year '25. I've talked to the majority of the council either on the phone or by email this week, and I think we're going to have a list to hand to you, Mr. Mayor, and in the next day or so, and then get in here Friday and have to be able to vote and get ready for next year. So I'll keep you posted. Anything from anyone else on the council?
Yes, I do, and I'll try to be brief here. We probably have received the same emails, but received several emails from the community as regards to just a few items that have some concern about, and therefore I'm a very vocal person in addressing certain things. And but I would ask, and I talked to Mayor briefly, any organization you're going to do some type of audit, you should, whether it's a governmental, whether it's a federal agency, whether it's water, whatever you may be, you need to do audits every so many years. Internal audits is one thing. Having an external person look at it, that's another, shows transparency on that end. So I know it was a press release sent out. It was a great press release. So maybe quarterly, I'll ask the mayor, give an action plan update on those different items to the public, no different than the item as it relates to the garbage or trash that our city administrator puts out, and probably maybe run those maybe the same day or different dates on that. I know Ken did give an update on our trash collection. Was it 3 or 4 months ago or so, Ken? About 2 months. Yeah. Yeah. Okay, so we can possibly do quarterly updates on those 2 items. I want to say the report is on the website too. The forensic report is on the website. Maybe we need to communicate that a little bit better to the public. I know we have several folks here. Also, was a conversation as far as public safety. The chief of police did an excellent update on that during the budget process. And maybe that's an opportunity maybe to do a update maybe twice a year of the level of effort the police department and fire are doing as well too. Maybe that can help as well in the process. And I want to say the last one, let me say this, I'll leave this piece of it alone. So in any government, you're going to have disagreements. Any type of government, I don't. Since I've been on this council, unless it's basic level items, we vote as one group, meaning that everybody agrees. But things that are different, I want to say our past council president stated that is one of the first groups he's worked on that everybody doesn't have the same opinion, which is great because you don't want to have a rubber stamp council. So that being said, that I have had disagreements with a vote. If it's item 1 and I move to item 2 once it's over. That's just business. And my goal is always continue to do the best for the city of Hoover residents. I've had kids that come through the system. I plan on retiring here unless God called me home sooner. But I get along personally with everyone up here. Professionally, we disagree on items, but we move to the next item. But I always do it in that reference. So I didn't want to acknowledge that because I received it. I apologize for everyone I haven't responded back to. I will get around to it because they're flying in. But I did want to just make that comment as it relates to that. Thank you, Mr. President.
Anyone else on the council have any comments, announcements, anything? All right, then we'll go to public comment. Mr. King.
So, Ken King, 5242 Cottage Lane. Thank you, Councilman Murphy, for your leadership on this, and thank you for acknowledging that there have probably been some piqued interest around knowing more about the ins and outs of the forensic audit, also as it relates to public safety, and as it relates to, generally speaking, what appears to be at times infighting and a lack of real leadership. But I appreciate you for at least speaking to the issue. And you're right, there a number of folks have probably sent emails, and I'm one of them. All right, and I was hoping for a response, and I will acknowledge that some of you did respond. Thank you, and thank you, Councilman Middlebrooks. I appreciate that. Others did not, but again, thank you for at least acknowledging it. So for me, I'm certainly aware of how government works. Those who know me know that I've spent a little bit of time in government, so I'm familiar with the whole nine. My concern really still centered around a level of transparency as it relates to the forensic audit. My last time here, I had an opportunity to watch the Kroll report come out, and if you were just a fly on the wall watching that, you probably would think all is completely well. But to your point, the report is on the website, and it is dense, right? So, but I took some time and I read through it, and there are a couple of things that just jump out to me, and I want to make sure that I don't spend my whole minute, 53 seconds talking. I would love your response, right? So one of the things that jumped out at me was this idea of $30 million in overstated general funds. Does that sound familiar to you guys? 36 or so million dollars in overstated amount in the general fund. I'm seeing some heads nodding. That's right. So I didn't hear anybody speak to that when the folks gave the Kroll report, right? The other thing that I found, let's see. Oh, deleted emails, unauthorized deleted emails. Again, we could talk forever about the hot topic of folks deleting emails. And then when you delete that emails, it appears there's no real subpoena power for anyone to actually request a history of the deleted emails. So what we have what to the layman is a report, a forensic audit, $200,000, I'm assuming done not just out of the goodness of folks' heart, but because there seems to be some issue around financial mismanagement or record keeping or staff training, et cetera. So it came out of nowhere. We don't just spend $200K for nothing, right? So we spend this $200K, we get this great audit, and then when it comes back, they find deleted emails, overstated general fund, et cetera. And I know that if you like me, you worry about that AAA bond rating, right? You're constantly thinking about, as long as we have a AAA bond rating, we're good to go. But if that general fund, reserve fund isn't actually accurate, it causes some concern from citizens, for sure. And I want to give you guys a chance to kind of speak to that. Tell me I'm absolutely wrong. Tell me I'm on the right track or not.
Yeah, that was going to be the question. You asked for, let me say one thing. You mentioned you emailed. A lot of the emails we're getting are chain emails, and they're the exact same email with the same things over and over again. When those come to you as a council member, the first one you look at, you go, okay, well, this is from a citizen, I'm replying, but then it starts to be the same thing. I would encourage anyone emailing us, don't send the chain email. Maybe look at some different things, because what ends up on our side is we answer those questions, and then you start hearing citizens say, I'm getting the same answer from him and him and him and him and him. Well, it is the same answer because it's database, it's data-driven. So when I get those and I get 20 in a day, like Derek was saying, it's hard to respond to that many when it's the exact same email, same wording over and over again.
The beauty of that is, one, average Joe citizen can talk to his neighbors and start a petition that his neighbors ask 3 basic questions. So it may be a chain, it may be a petition that was generated through a little bit of technology, but it allows me to basically be able to work with other people who are also interested, who also want to collaborate, who also want to ask questions, and be able to give you guys an opportunity to respond. So again, I get it, it's a chain. doesn't take away from the content of the email, doesn't take away from the fact that as a common courtesy, folks should probably read and or acknowledge or respond to them, doesn't take away from the fact that we are committed to transparency and leadership, doesn't take away from the fact that the questions are legitimate questions that I still don't have answers to, but I know my time is up.
Mr. Mayor, was that something Derek talked about an update? I think an update would be good because a lot of the things I'm seeing in those chain emails, they don't add up to some of the things that I heard from the chief and some of the things I've heard from you guys. So maybe that would be a good opportunity.
That chain email that's generated by AI is 100% politically motivated, has no bearing whatsoever on the truth that's going on in the city. The Crow report was a very extensive report done by a very reputable company. And I have no intentions of spinning my wheels and putting our accounting group through needless exercises that don't prove anything. Now, if a citizen has a concern, I am happy to sit down with them and have our CFO sit down with them and explain everything. But I am not going to respond to AI-generated, poorly written and displayed gossip that does not depict the city of Hoover at all. It really is a shame what they, like I saw the garbage on there. What city did they take the picture of for that garbage? It wasn't in the city of Hoover. They talked about the crime rate in our city. Our crime rate is the lowest it's been probably in generations. Talked about our schools. Our schools are the best schools in Alabama. It is a politically motivated piece of work that I will not respond to unless each of you ask me a specific question about something. I am open to you anytime you want and very transparent. If any citizen cares to speak to us, we will make every time in the world available for them. But to respond to Mr. King there, and you too as well.
Yeah.
If I'm addressing Mr. President. If Mr. King wishes to come to our office, or I'll come to him, we'll be glad to respond to him in any way. Thank you, sir. I appreciate you giving me the opportunity to share that.
Anything else you wanted to address? Okay.
Mr. Pro Tem.
There's still a question about $30 million in overstated general funds that everyone seems to be nodding about. That's not made up. There's still a concern about tons of emails that were deleted. That's not made up. That's not political hearsay. That's an actual fact that I watched folks nod their heads in this very audience when I raised those issues. Three very simple questions. So again,
I understand.
That's.
I would just email the mayor.
Yeah, that's nice.
Okay.
But no, I appreciate it. Thank you again for your time. And again, I will continue asking the same straightforward questions. Where are the emails, Mr. Mayor? Where's the $30 million that was overstated the general fund, Mr. Mayor?
Okay, let's move on. Thank you. Mr. McClinton.
I was going to extend my time, but that's fine. Give it to him.
All right, let's move on to Mr. Smith.
Gene Smith, 1080 Magnolia Run, 35226. I was just going to ask a quick question about the budget. Historically, the complete budget is made available at the clerk's office and at the library. This is the complete budget, the thick one. I was just going to see if that's going to be made available to the public prior to the special called meeting. That's all.
Madam Clerk, is that the case? Or Mr. Mayor? Either one.
I'll defer that to the mayor.
Okay.
Sure, we're
Sure.
happy to, yeah.
Okay. Yes, sir. Any other public comment? Okay, with that, we are adjourned.